turnover a year, you have a small company, you will not pay corporate tax, you will not have to charge VAT, no withholding tax. Most of your employees will be earning less than 100,000 a month. They will not have to pay tax. So, like, if this is not a good reform, I don't know what else should be a good reform. Unfortunately, we've had to deal with a lot of misinformation. We think some of them are based on people who don't fully understand it. That's why we keep explaining, so that hopefully when they understand, they'll do the right thing. But of course, we can't run away from the fact that there are people who they don't care. Even when they understand it, they still don't want to agree for whatever reasons. Some of them are beneficiaries of the status quo. They rather continue to benefit at the expense of society than for us to fix that problem for the whole of the system. And that's not the way to grow an economy. That's not the way to ensure there's shared prosperity and progress in our communities. So you see some of the exemptions for small businesses that will benefit. And these are the people who employ the most Nigerians. Imagine that you enable small businesses and each one of them just hire one more person. You're talking about tens of millions of jobs. And any amount of money that they make, they spend it on their household. One of the very important things that we need to look forward to next year is that for about 98% of all workers, private and public sector, they would either see their PAYE, that's pay as you earn tax, go away completely, or a drop. So that's more disposable income. On the other hand, what is it that they spend money on? Mostly on food, education, health, transportation, and shelter by way of rent. We remove the VAT on those items so that those things become more affordable. So you have more disposable income, you have more affordable basic consumption, life just becomes a lot easier and more bearable for you. And so those are the things we're looking forward to for next year. And we believe that anyone who really has taken the time to look at the details will know that this is good for us. Not sentiment, not emotions. We believe that if we make policies based on sentiment and emotion, we're not making policies. We're just gambling. If you really want good results, use data, be objective, be transparent, and be honest with the people. That's what we've been trying to do.
Let's stay with your slides for a moment before we come to the big issues around this gazetting controversy, which I know a lot of people are itching to hear. I'm sure you've spoken about it time and again, which has to do with myths, misinformation, and facts. If we can get that slide, it's the common myths and the facts available. Maybe you can speak to a few of them. I think there are about 10 of them here, which is quite important for people to be aware of.
Yeah, there actually more than, there are so many. There are
you just
listed 10. Yeah. So one of it is people think that government would debit their bank account from next year. And how they even came up with that, I have no idea, because the tax ID that you need to put into your account, if you are using your account for business or to earn income, was something that was introduced in 2020. So which means it's not even new, it's been there for over 5 years. So if government wanted to use that to debit your bank account, they would have been doing it since 5 years ago. They won't need a new law to do that. There's also the one where people say, remittances from abroad, government will tax it. Okay, so it's actually the opposite. In the current law, it says you are liable to tax on your income earned within or outside Nigeria, brought in, received in, accruing in, or deriving in Nigeria. That's what we have currently. Under the new law, we remove brought into and received in. So in fact, it's more clarity for our diaspora Nigerians to know that when you send money, there's no tax on it. But of course, if you live abroad and you have a business in Nigeria, a property on which you earn income, you will pay tax like anybody else. There's also the one around pension. They say, pensioners and retirees will be taxed. So this is when people read the law and they don't finish reading what they started reading. So there's what they call charging section in the law. So this is where you list everything you want to apply taxes on. And then as you go on, you have exemptions. So for example, we say pension is taxable. And then we go further and say any pension under the Pension Reform Act is not taxable. Why did we do that? It's because I can be an expatriate in Nigeria, earning dollars, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I send my pension to my home country to put in my pension account. Why should Nigeria give you a tax deduction for that? Because that money is not available for. So that's the reason why you have to first tax the item, and then you exclude the ones you want to exempt. So anybody earning pension in Nigeria as a Nigerian, retirement benefits, severance, if somebody loses their employment, all those are exempted from taxes under the new law. We also have the one where people say that, government can take over your assets, and then, without any court approvals. I say if only they have read the current tax laws, the taxman does not need anybody other than the board chair, the head of the revenue service, to sign a warrant. But because before they can do that, your tax must be final and conclusive. That's the terminology.
What does that